What do you think? How's everyone doing on this new moon Sunday? Is anybody out there feeling fired up? Pink. It's kind of like red, but not quite, right? Whoop whoop! Welcome everyone in the house. Hey Victoria, thanks for sharing. Laura and Laura. Hi Tom. Hey there Leonello. Hey Sandy and Allie. Ciao, buonasera. Hey William. Woo! Hey, let me tell you, it's been one of those days already. Hey Andy, thanks for joining. And Eliza, let me know where you're at. Tell me how life is treating you today. Where you're coming into new moon, planting the seeds for your future. So the past couple days, a few different things have been popping up for me. Hey Lupita. And I'm going to tell you, first off, I'm a Leo. And I'm a love or hate type of person. I'm a fired up energy. I'm the type of person you don't want to cross me because, especially in my past life, because I couldn't even look. If I don't respect you, if you lose my respect because you can't hold your own personal integrity intact, I've been the type of person, I can't look you in the eye. That was my past. Hey Susan. But my current, I'm a lot more neutral. I'll be a little kinder in my approach. Hey Lorraine. But the reality is, I can see through your BS. And there's a certain point where I may actually hold on to you and keep you up here and try to, maintain that, I see the good in everybody. Because I also have a Libra rising. So that part of me is always trying to keep the balance, wants everybody to be happy. And in the past, it's been at my own expense. What does that translate to? That means that I've compromised my own self, knowing full well in my own intuitive nature that this person was not walking their talk. Do as I say, not as I do. A person tells you all about where they're at in their lives through their behavior, not through the words, through their actions. And the tough thing about this is that I want to believe the best in every single person. Hey Sadia, so good to see you. Thank you Sandy for sharing. First off, I'm going to tell you, sharing is caring. Hit the share button, hit the invite for all of your friends, because I guarantee this is going to help a lot of you. We have to really confront our ego, our mind, even the part of our ego that says, well, I'm afraid somebody won't like me. If I say this, I'm afraid people won't like me. I'm afraid what they'll say about me. I'm afraid. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Because reality is the thoughts don't actually exist. They can if you continually hold on to them, if you're attached to them, because the more you send that energy, where attention goes, energy flows, to those thoughts and hold them so strongly within you, you will manifest it eventually. Hey Abby, thanks for joining. So in my life, I have had a tendency to hold on to people in my life and really holding out and expecting the best of those individuals. And what that has actually done to me has created my own internal dialogue of you should have known better. You had all the signs, you had all the information, and that's the negative self-talk. But the true lesson is to trust your instinct. If you look, for example, I had to clean up Facebook. And I actually had to confront my mind and go, how is that person serving in my life? Am I serving them? Are we engaging with one another, or are we just holding space and contributing to a bunch of numbers that make us look like, ooh, look at me, I got a whole bunch of friends. And let me tell you, cleansing out over 3,000 people will put you in a place where you're going, well, I'm afraid that if I don't keep in touch with them through Facebook, I won't be able to. What if I unfriend them and they won't like me anymore? And that's a person I've known since, and you can come into the stories, because that's really what it is. It's cleaning up the stories and confronting them and asking yourself, is this really true? Because if the person is important enough, number one, they will speak up. They will come and find you if you accidentally, because I did this, and some people have done this. They've come back and said, did you mean to unfriend me? Well, no, maybe I didn't because I got glossed over after, 3,000 people. I'm telling you, people, it's not exactly an easy tasking to go through. And those are my Italian friends. I actually had to sit there and go, it's not like I don't know how to get in touch with them. I know where they live. And when I do go back, I have them in my phone book. I have a whole contact Rolodex in my phone. So I know how to get in touch with people if I need to. And if they remember, they can also get in touch with me. So it's not a one-way street, but then we seem to think that, well, I'm worried about what will the other person think of me, right? Thanks for sharing, Lisa. I appreciate it. But here's the irony. What somebody else thinks of you is none of your business. It's a waste of your energy. Is probably nowhere near what you're thinking they may think of you. It's totally irrelevant and it doesn't serve you. All it does is gives your power away to some individual who probably, if they're not already involved in your life, what difference does it make at that point? Social media takes two different directions, right? It can either elevate you or bring you down. And see, I want to use it to elevate, uplift, to serve, to support, right? Exactly. You have to be neutral. And this is where this is going. So, if you ever watch some of my other videos, I always talk about contrast. We have to have these experiences. Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing my video. I truly appreciate it. The more people that get this information, trust me, they're going to be served just by you touching that social media share button. Sharing is caring. You don't even know whose life you're going to touch. Click invite on all your friends. Just keep on going down the list. And it's super, super powerful these days. Hi, Carolyn. Thanks for joining. So I talk about the pendulum swinging. We can go to one extreme or the other, and that's how we recognize contrast, right? It's good. It's bad. But when you come right back to the center, neutral point, neither one of them actually exists. It's called the 0 point. It's neutrality. But guess what? Without one, the other doesn't exist. And do you know what that 0 point is? It's being in that space of presence of the moment, and it's love. And that means all that is. It's not an action. It's not an adjective. It's not a verb. Right? Love is all that truly is. It's just that we've layered on stories on top of it. We've made life so much more difficult we can't even see past our own veils until we start peeling away the onion layers, right? And yes, the tears should flow because we've all been through experiences that challenged a belief system we held or an ideology of something we expected, right? Hi, Kimberly. Hey, Carol. Pure love and consciousness. Yes. Thank you, Ali. Thank you. So, again, I'm going to go back to, I want to be as loving and supportive of everybody out there. But there's a point when somebody has challenged my integrity to the point where I've actually gone, my negative self-talk's going into a direction of, you should have known better. This person's already demonstrated their behavior several times before. And I'm telling you, in the spiritual community, you got to be really careful because there's a lot of people walking around saying certain stuff, but they're not walking in integrity. And they're saying one thing and their actions are completely not matching. Especially when it comes to business. People are wondering, why am I hitting a brick wall? But if you say something and you don't actually do it, and you got people hanging, you got to look at your actions. You got to look at your words. Are they matching? Hi, Charlene. This is going to be a little tough, by the way, because I'm not one to go here, okay? Hey, Ann. Thanks for joining. Because I actually been struggling with this over the past month, actually. And I'm going through a repeat performance, let's say. And people, I'm going to tell you, There's a lot of airy-fairy people out there in the spiritual world. They're not presently grounded in their physical bodies. I say it all the time. Please do me a favor. Pull your air balloon back down to the earth. We're supposed to be here physically in our bodies, not life is like this and I'm all, I'm integrating all this energy and life is going to be perfect and in the flow. I'm sorry, but you know what? If you're not physically in your body, you're not present in the moment, how are you serving yourself or others? And the saddest part about that is people get so caught up in the mesmerizing aspect of how beautiful they look like a butterfly. But even the butterfly knows how to ground itself, to land on a flower and on the earth, right? So there's all these people saying they're spreading love, joy and bliss, talking about pure energy, yet they're not embodying the energies. What they're doing is they're hurting people, and they're not speaking real from their own hearts, but telling you all the words that drew them in to begin with. So there is a little bit of naivety on both ends. If you're not physically grounded in your own physical body, and you're drawing others in that are also airy-fairy and need to be brought back to the physical earth. I know I say airy-fairy, it sounds kind of funny, but there's a lot of people got that hot air going on. It's a lot of air energy, as we say, but you've got to balance out all of the elements. The earth, the air, the water, the ethers, even the metals, They can't exist without one another, and you can't live off of just one alone. You have to be in this balance and harmony, okay? And it's not about protection and grounding. What it is maintaining your center, your presence, awareness, being mindful of your actions, thoughts, your words, the people you surround yourself with. Are you wondering why, hey Mark and Arthur, are you wondering why you're still having repeated issues, patterns, lessons, blessings, however you want to see it? Look at your actions. Do they match your words? When you say you're going to do something, do you follow through with it or not? Because this is my struggle. I want to believe when someone says to me they're going to do something, they're going to do it. Because I hold a very high bar for myself. And when I don't meet it, I am the first one to beat myself up about it. So I don't need someone to point it out. But once it is pointed out by someone else, it makes it that much harder for me, right? But my inner child gets hurt once in a while because I fail to step into the power that I have graciously handed over to someone else when they say they're going to do something. So I feel I've been misleading myself. I'm going to say that because that's how it works. Hi Angie, thanks for joining. We mislead ourselves because the truth is we want to believe somebody else can tell us something we don't already know within our own hearts, right? Hi Tanika, thanks for joining. And so what happens is when someone else disappoints us, it's actually a reflection of ourselves. We've handed over the power to another person thinking, well, I really believed in them. Well, you know why you believed in them? Because they have some element within you that they're mirroring. And in some cases, what they're mirroring is your insecurity. And there's a lot of people out there that are very competitive and they're afraid to share. And I mean that in every possible way. Hi John, thanks for joining. When I say that is, I reach out to friends and I'm the first person, again, I'm a Leo. I'm loyal to a fault until you turn around and cross me. And then I may just, now, because I'm in a much more neutral space, if you disappear off my friends list, there's a reason. I don't think I need to have to explain myself. If you ask, I will, because I'll be kind enough to give you the straight up answer. But most people aren't aligned with their own personal truth. They'll say they are, they'll say this and they'll say that, and then proceed to not live it by example. And I want to inspire you through inspired living. I want to uplift you through inspiring that spark that creates that self-love within you, the breath, the life force, the prana. We're re-enlivening all the cells. We're really bringing it down. That's okay, dear. I know you're going to enjoy this when you get a chance to finish watching. So for me, when I find I'm having a little trouble with my breath, and I am right now, and I'm going to bring you all in with me. We're going to do this 3 times. Okay, I want you to just find yourself with your eyes closed, focus in and up at the third eye point, okay? Breathing long and deep into the pelvic floor, expanding up through the belly and the rib cage, up through the chest, the clavicle. And the exhale, the chest lowers, the diaphragm flattens, the belly goes in, and you pull in at the navel point to release that little bit of stagnation, whatever's left. Let's do that a couple more times. Hey Carl, hi Elaine, thanks for joining. So I'm resetting at myself and I'm breathing. Hi Kristen. Thank you Tom for sharing. Yes, do me a favor, please go over to the share button and start inviting away. I want you to invite as many people as you can because this is going to benefit more than just yourself. So in the past, I've been known to put a lot more trust in people than I intuitively know better than to do. But see, I try to recognize the good in all and also anticipating that they will come around. But you know what? If you hold your breath, it's not serving anyone, is it? So if I keep holding my breath, it's only suffocating myself. It's restricting my own life force energy. And I've just handed it over to someone else. So in various communities that I have belonged to over the years, I've been exposed to people that I would promote. And I haven't reached out asking them to promote me because you know what? I feel like that should be a choice. So I'm not the type of person who goes out there and says, would you do me a favor and would you share? Would you do this? Would you mention? You know why? Because I didn't necessarily feel like I needed to do that. And there was probably a part of me that didn't feel worthy of asking, right? How many of you out there have been like that before? But then, let me tell you, there's plenty of people who are worthy in their thinking, and they've reached out and asked me, and I will do it to a certain degree. But I also recognize there's a point where people also need to be put into their own self-power. And so depending on the circumstances, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because there have been a few people that I have promoted over the years. And I'm going to tell you, I've been disappointed. And once again, I ordered a hair care product from somebody that I do believe in her product, Karen. I do believe in your product. I do believe in your services. But unfortunately, I can't support your business any longer. And I'm saying this so that other people out there can do it for themselves, not to call people out, but maybe the reason people are hitting these brick walls is because they're not stepping up into their power and they're not doing as they say they will do. I ordered a product, 2 products, over a month ago. That was $105 of my money, and I'm going to share that I have a very limited budget. I'm living off of a VA disability check, which is around $1,000 a month. So $105 is actually quite a bit of my savings. Okay? So any excuses coming back is to me disgusting and it's an insult. Okay? So I'm saying this so that others out there will also be aware and that maybe the individuals who this pertains to can correct their actions. Because sometimes this is what happens, that it didn't just happen once, but I've been offered things and then people never follow through. I love Andrea Cox. I think she has a wealth of information. But unfortunately, you don't know how many times I've been promised stuff and I've been called in personal conversations. And then again, nothing's been delivered, right? And especially when it's actually on Facebook and the person does a live and says, oh, I'm going to send you this and I'm going to send you that. And then you never receive it. And you're like, you know, what do? Do I badger the person? No. It's a lesson for me to learn. To trust my intuition. To look at the person and say, okay, they've already told you who they are and where they're at in their life through their actions. And that right there is humbling. And am I going to be worried about what they think? I can't be any longer. I'm sorry. I have to live in my personal integrity, and I have to get this off my chest because I don't want to live in resentment. But I want you to understand that I see you, and I see your actions versus your words, and I'm holding you accountable. Now it's your chance to step up and step into your power. Right? Family for me is a little easier. You know why? Because family, I give them more. I allow them more in the sense that they'll find their way. But with my family specifically, I'm more forgiving because family matters most to me. But if I allow someone from outside of my family to come in and to upset my harmonic balance because I allowed it, that to me is more upsetting than if it were my family. Because my family I can work with. I'm much more forgiving with my family. Okay? That's just me. Everybody's got a different, they're in a different place. And you have to honor where you're at, right? That's the most important thing. You have to honor what comes up, what bubbles up for you. And if you hold on to it, it's like a cancer. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Lori. Thanks for joining. It's like a cancer. It'll eat you from the inside out. Sometimes you need to flush this stuff out. Because if you don't, it's gonna cause, again, the dis-ease within you. So there have been other people in the community that kind of drive me a little batty, okay? And here's the other thing. Hi, Lucy. Mwah! There's a lot of people that are drawing you in. And I know these people are watching my videos. They might not show up. They may not share my videos, but I can see it in the actions and I can hear it in their own videos. I would share their videos and they never shared mine. You know what? I'm sorry. That is not a supportive environment. And I no longer support people who are not receptive, engaging, uplifting, and inspiring, but yet they want to talk, be seen, be heard, but they don't want to share. They're in this competitive spirit. And see, that's something that came up for me this morning. I recognize my own ego. My own ego that gets a little bit, rubbed. Like, oh my gosh, I'm sharing all this information. Am I going to get the recognition? Because that's what the ego does. It wants recognition. This is how I recognize it in other people, because I know it for myself. That if I see that someone is being competitive and doesn't want to share a video, come on people, you share all those silly little, animal videos and some of the stupidest other stuff, and to share something that can change someone's life, uplift and inspire, make them actually look within to help heal whatever they need to heal, that makes you have to go look within yourself. Why is it you don't want to share? Are you afraid of what people are going to think? Because you're going to touch someone's life. You don't necessarily have to know whose life it is. They may never come up to you and tell you, but you can see it through people's actions around you and how it ripples out. It only takes one share, and you'd be surprised how that touches. Again, one share per person. Invite your friends. The invites only show up on notifications. If they're online, they can click in and they can change their mind. It's no harm, no foul, right? And if you have 100 friends, maybe they see it and they share it. That's kind of how you have to think of it, right? You want things to be shared. You want information, but most people are hoarders. And they don't even realize it. They're afraid Yeah, right? I haven't lost any friends from sharing any videos either. Because most people don't even go to your page unless they really want to find something that you have shared in the past. Most of the times, what people are seeing are called the news feed. And that's based on the algorithms that Facebook has set. So whatever you tend to follow is what shows up. If you're like into the whole political scene and wondering, why do I keep seeing all these nasty, disgruntled posts? It's because what have you been posting? It matches to what you're doing. The computers are smart enough. They're learning your habits and they're mirroring them back to you. And people pay to have that stuff show up in your feed and on the side as advertisements. Information is power, people. If you get yourself educated, you'll find there are better ways to find yourself and your personal power. But you don't, you have to be open and receptive and see what your own patterns are. Everything's going to go back to going within yourself, right? And you can't project it on someone else because they're just reflecting back to you exactly where you're at. Me too, Lucy. Yeah, exactly, Laura. You'd be surprised. Laura's saying she's made so many more friends as a result of sharing my videos. You don't know whose life you're going to change or touch or uplift. Or the one person who maybe is in depression and says, you know what? That really snapped me out of my funk. Yeah? Exactly. If you get one share, you're accomplishing something. And it's rewarding just knowing that one person's life could have been touched. And you don't even have to know. But I say this for you because you're also part of this. You are a catalyst. When you send it out, it's just as if you're here with me, spreading the love. It's part of that ripple effect. It's not just me. So that's what I'm trying to impart upon you. So there are a lot of people out in the community, and I've been involved with the raw vegan community, yoginis, the yoga community, on the kundalini and the hatha vinyasa, ashtangis, all that stuff, right? Book authoring, my military time, veterans, military peeps that I have friends with, people I went to school with, people I worked with and lived amongst in Italy and all over Europe, all over the world. So I've been in all different arenas, and it's intriguing to me, and I'm sure I'm forgetting something else, but it's intriguing to me how people can be like literally withholding this connection to one another. Like they're afraid that if I share her video, she's going to be taking my spotlight. Right? Is that crazy? And see, that's where you got to confront your mind. And that's what came to me in my morning meditation is I can own that my mind thinks that, but I don't believe it in my heart. Because there's plenty to go around. We are how many billion, trillions, I don't know how many people on this planet. And you're worried about social media and somebody else stealing your glory and your fame and your attention. That you're wanting people to show up for you, but you're not willing to show up for them. You speak in the spirit of spiritual, spreading the love, pure energy, whatever your tagline. But you're the last person to hit the share button for someone else who's supporting you in your community. So that's the whole Steve Factor, Andrea Cox, whoever is out there. And I'm saying names for a reason. Because I want to pull people down from their little hot air balloons and put them back in their body. I'm sorry. I hear the rhetoric. I hear the redundancy. But I'm not seeing the walking with the talking. And I find it is not serving the community. And I'm not taking any attention off of those of you who may resonate with them. Go for it. But I can also see how drawing in they are. And the reason being is because you see something in them that still is in you. Like you see that hurt little child. And your hurt little child wants to communicate with theirs. But guess what? Birds of a feather flocking together don't necessarily fly. If you want to soar with the eagles, who do not soar in packs, by the way, you have to Let go of the turkeys. The reality is you need to be in your authentic truth, and don't push it and give it to someone else who is claiming they're there for you, but yet wants you to do everything for them, and they're not willing to step up once for you. So I'm actually setting my intention, one of the many, for this new moon that we have today in Leo. And my birthday's coming up in less than 2 weeks. August 1st, baby. I'm setting this intention that as much as I love everybody, I want to inspire, uplift, and support everyone. I want to be here for a spirit of love. I want you to thrive. I want to inspire you to be your best you. It's not about me. For me, showing up, it's because of you that I'm even here. You inspire me to be here. And that in itself humbles me. And I am grateful every single morning because I get excited. What am I going to share with you that I have no idea how it's going to touch you, but it's truly raw and real, and it's who I am, and it's coming from my heart. If somebody shows you who they are, believe them. If they tell you who they are, believe them. Don't question yourself. Be strong in your personal power. Don't give it away to someone else. I was afraid that, well, Andrea's always reached out to me, and she's called me on the phone. She's had actual conversations with me, and I would never share her personal information because I honor that. And I think that it's a beautiful thing when you feel someone trusts you. But at the same time, I also see where people are hitting brick walls and they don't understand it's their own selves creating them, right? So if you're hitting a brick wall in your life, you have to look at your patterns. You got to confront them head on, honey. All of them. You want to be launched, float forward. Don't let the universe decide for you. Step into that personal power. Acknowledge your shortcomings and honor and own them. It's not going to hurt you. And nobody else necessarily even knows what they are. But you know what? When you're putting it out there in social media, live especially, you can't hide that, and you can't make it or fake it. Because I'm showing up as I am right now. Part of me feels a little hurt by the circumstances of what I've been promised and yet never been delivered, right? Hi, Sally. Thanks for joining. Hi, Chip. And the reason I want you to all hear this is because I guarantee I'm not the only one who's going through this or gone through this. And we need to set the intention to take back our personal power, whether or not it's putting, and I'm going to say this too, if you put all your trust in the government and how we need to have more rules and laws and regulations, I'm sorry, you got to drop that one too. Because there is no such thing as a government that has your best interest at heart. That's the bottom line. Do you know why I don't watch politics? Because it's like the Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. I'm sorry, but you know what? The power's in the people. You want your life, you've got to own it. You've got to take back that personal power and stop giving it away. Set healthy boundaries. Come back to self-love. And honor every single aspect about yourself. That means forgiveness for anything you think you should have known better, right? It's okay to say, I knew better. But you know what? I learned a lesson, and I'm grateful for the lesson. Because if you could type that, Lucy, I have no idea what I just said. That would be great. If I say something you enjoy, please type it in the comments, because I may forget, because this just comes straight through. Setting healthy boundaries means stepping back and going, I've accepted less of who I am and what I deserve for compromising what I wanted to receive from someone else. You wanted validation from another, and you gave them your personal power because you wanted them to like you. But you can't even dictate that through your behavior. You know, they can tell you what they want, and you can turn around and appease them with doing that. But how does that serve you in the end? Right? So if you're afraid of unfriending someone on Facebook, that's something you got to go within and go, woo! Why? How does that person serve me? And how are they holding so much power over my head is what it is, that I'm afraid to let go of them. I'm afraid they're not going to like me? Okay, well, if they're not engaging with you, what makes you think they like you to begin with? They may be just a friend collector. Again, people who sometimes get caught up in the numbers. Look at me, I got 5,000 friends. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have any more friend room, right? You know what? It's just like high school or grade school, popularity contest, fitting in with cliques. I never fit in back then either. Yeah. And I read that somewhere earlier today, Tom. I don't remember when. If it wasn't just something you typed, I read it more than once. And that's the thing, is I'm not here to create followers. I'm here to inspire the leadership within you, empowering you with more of touching upon your own soul and who you are. Hey, Ivy, thanks for joining. So click the share button. There you go. Thank you, Angie. That's probably it. Yeah, Cindy posted it. Yeah, that was beautiful, and I love that. Click the invite on all of your friends. Keep on going down it. Just keep on going down your list. One of those friends is going to thank you in the end. Wow. Thanks for turning me on to that powerful diatribe, whatever you want to hear, they want to say. I tried so hard to get validation, acceptance from not just my father, because that's where it all originated for me, and I'm aware of it and I can see the pattern, that it unfolded in all of my relationships with men, to the point where eventually it manifested into a relationship that resembled my parents. And in the end, it really didn't serve me. If I were to say it served me in any way, shape, or form, it served me to this point right where I'm at now, which is no coincidence, because that's what happens. Everything serves us, but it's no longer going to serve me because I've learned the lesson, and I don't have to repeat it again, is how we see it, right? It served me to recognize that it didn't need to be a repeated pattern. You know what, Susan, sometimes I'm noticing, especially because there's a lot of Facebook bots out there, especially this morning. I had all these women, and they were fake, sexual innuendo type friends. I always scan the pages. You want to know who's friending you? Always look at their page and see what they're posting. If it's something that you wouldn't post, you probably shouldn't be friending them. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of them out there that if I can't even read the language on their page, I immediately know that this is not going to be one of those receptive relationships, right? So yeah, there's a lot of that out there, and you have to be aware and don't be caught up in the wanting to be liked and compromising your own integrity. Again, all you have to do is sit there with your inner child and ask, what do I need to know about this situation? Place your right hand on your belly and your left hand on your heart and just breathe into it. Ask your inner child for words of wisdom. What do I need to know in this moment? And she'll tell you. Be authentic, be true, be real to you. No more playing small, baby. That's what she says to me now. What does that mean? We're bringing on the fire, baby. New moon energy. We're in Leo. This is only going to get better. And I truly want each and every one of you to be able to step back from any situations that even the slightest bit make you question. Observe it enough to go, is this truly resonating with my heart and soul? Because there's a lot of people out there saying a lot of things using the perfect lingo. And I had this 2 years ago. I had somebody show up and say they were going to help me do work on my house. And I just want to point out, this person, I was paying them to work on my house. And then they proceeded to use passive-aggressive behavior, because actually, at the time, I was wearing my turban, which was interesting, because it was a man who was trying to talk my talk and get to know me. And he wanted to see my hair. Well, there's something interesting with men who are so fixated, fascinated, and wanting to see a woman's hair. What, you can't look at me without my hair? You know, it was an interesting dynamic, and it got him so frustrated. There was a point where he made a comment, well, I can't tell what's going on under that turban of yours. It was very passive-aggressive. No problem, Shelly. We're holding space for you, babe. And the passive aggressivity, I had like kind of one of those, you know what, this turban's actually protecting me more than you know. And I had a little bit of a struggle. Unfortunately, I had a friend that was helping me with some energy around my house. The first day that he was there and the full day, it was interesting to watch how I thought he was just going to work the 2 days and I would pay him after, but he was insistent on getting his money after the first full day. To the point where he followed me to the ATM, and it felt really weird, very uncomfortable. And I realized because he had come back after taking a break and getting showered and coming back that I could smell alcohol. So there was something going on below the surface there that I don't know and I don't need to know. And I felt so uncomfortable. I paid him the cash, and the next day I didn't even want him to come back, but I couldn't seem to figure out how to formulate a way to say, don't bother coming back. Because what happened was he did come back, and then he went away again, and I was like, don't come back after that. I wish I had said it prior to that, because it was a waste of my time and my money too. Because even then, at that point, he left me in a situation, and the reason I was worried, I had a little fear thing, was because what am I going to do with this hole in my building, my house? My entire bathroom wall was ripped up, and I had to have a tarp on it as a result. And he kind of kept, it was almost like he didn't expect me to say don't come back, because he knew I was stuck in a compromised situation where who's she going to find now, right? Passive aggressivity, right? Keeping that carrot dangled. It shouldn't have taken as long. Shouldn't have taken as long as what he was doing and the way that he was doing it, and then taking his time. And in the end, I ended up having to hire someone else. It took a little longer. I had a tarp in the window. And especially here in Florida with the critters and everything else, I was concerned. And the rain, because it was still during rainy season 2 years ago. But I'm so grateful I got rid of him when I did. Instead of holding on to him with this idea that I was now dependent for him to finish the job, with this resentment and this uncomfortable sensation going on that I physically could feel. Like my physiology was saying, this isn't right. And I don't deserve the way he's behaving and treating me. Because he was treating me crappy, and I did not deserve that. And I was like, nope, this stops. Don't come back. And I'm grateful I did that, because it took a lot of strength, inner power, to speak up for that moment. And that was part of the lesson, because he wasn't the first one. It was that summer I had several people show up that really pushed my boundaries. And I had to speak up for myself. I had to learn to stand in my personal power and said, no. You can say whatever you want. That doesn't define who I am. And it's none of my business what you think of me in the end. Because all that matters is I'm right with me. And that I'm doing the best I can, and I'm walking my talk and standing in my integrity. Because too often that's the problem out there, is there are people who aren't willing to step up to the plate. They're fearful of owning their stuff. Okay, you fell short, you forgot about me. I had to come back and ask you, when am I receiving my product? Oh, I'm so sorry, such and such happened. Okay, it'll be in the mail on Friday. Production was delayed. The following week, still nothing. And then the next week, okay, did you forget about me again? Did you get a confirmation slip? Can I get an expected delivery? Oh, I'm so sorry. Now I'm actually playing chess with money. I sent you $105, honey. You better not be playing chess with my money. There's no excuse for it. And then to see that other people are clearly receiving their products. And that happened with Andrea too, because I had to call her on some products in the past when I first ordered something, and it didn't arrive. Oh, and then she sent me, here's a credit for your next, or you can get 20% off your next order. Well, guess what? I'm not ordering anymore. If it doesn't take more than once, but it took me twice on both occasions. And if I have to keep coming after you, then you lost my business. Doesn't matter how good your product is. If you're not showing up as a business person, I'm sorry. And it's really sad because, yeah, I might enjoy and love your products and I will promote you for them. But only when you step up to being professional in that space. Because I can't promote somebody who hasn't actually walked the talk. Because if I'm being left empty-handed a month later, how's that going to affect people if I refer them? They're going to come back to me and say, why did you refer to me to this person who clearly doesn't follow through and leaves you hanging? Unless I'm the exception and people just think it's okay to let me stay hanging and they actually do own up to others. I don't know. Because I can't speak for other people. I can only speak from my personal experience. And I have seen that before. But, you know, hey Jennifer, thanks for joining. So, you know, and I do hope everyone gets a chance to see the video. And it puts them in a reflective period. Maybe they get mad, but you know what? That's not my problem. Because the reality is sometimes things need to come to a head to where somebody calls them out on it, that maybe they can actually see it and they can make an improvement and not take it personal. Because how am I supposed to take it? Am I not supposed to be able to take it personal if I'm the one left hanging without something that I actually purchased, or that you promised me something and there's nothing there? Promises spoken, promises lost. So this is where, you know, again, for those of you out there, speak your truth. Be raw, be real. If something's bothering you, get it off your chest. Don't hold on to it. Hi, Carolyn. Thanks for joining. There's a lot of beautiful people in the world, and a lot of them don't get the promotion and attention that they deserve. Those are the people I want to focus on. The people I can uplift, like all of you who show up, and I am so grateful to you, because when you show up, that's the hardest part, right? Sometimes showing up is half the battle, and once you get there, everything else is gravy, baby. We're on the gravy train, you know? Get up your vibes and get your sassy on, right? We're talking about people who make promises, Jennifer, and don't deliver. That's the bottom line. And how I had ordered a product on June 20th and paid $105, and I still have not received it. And as much as I do love the products, I got left hanging not just once, but several times. And this happened again previously over the past years that I've actually ordered products. And I finally just came to a head where I was promoting the individual. But how does that serve me if I turn around and promote somebody and you go to buy something and then the same thing happens to you? It makes me look bad, doesn't it? So if I'm going to promote somebody, I want it to also be something that's going to reflect the same integrity as myself. I'm not going to promote somebody who turns around and can't even walk the talk that they claim to be walking. And that there are a lot of airy-fairy types in the spiritual community that are basically talking all about this spread the love, but they're not actually spreading the love. They're hoarding it. They want all the attention and the focus on them, but they don't even want to share within their community anybody else. And I mean also my videos. There have been a whole lot of people, oh honey, I'm with you. Who did you order that from, Dawn? Gosh, I hope it's nobody in the communities. So we have these helium balloons of people. Oh, love is so wonderful. Well, eat some grounding food or something. Put yourself back in your body. And it's driving me up the wall because it's not serving the community. If anything, they're making promises and not following through, and it's hurting people. Come do for me, and then what's the return? Like, they're not offering anything. They're all talk and no action. Bring your happy ass back down to earth, baby. I'm sorry, I'm done with that. And these people watch my videos, and I'm hearing the same words that I speak sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, I don't see you sharing my video, but I see you're trying to also mimic my words. You know, Facebook Live, if you were paying attention to the ring of people that we are all surrounded around, you'll see people repeat stuff. Some of us don't mind it being repeated, right? What, right, Tom? Because we talk to each other, we share each other, we communicate with each other, you know? Hurt people too, so keep that in mind. Yeah, pure energy. Don't get me started, please. I'm going to tell you that the first thing that drives me nuts, I'm going to call you on that one. That's Steve Factor. Pure energy. I'm going to tell you, I've known him for years through Andrea Cox, and to me, he gets so lightheaded that I swear to God, the way that he resonates with me, I can't watch him. I want to just pull him back down to earth and say, Steve, could you get in your body and stay there, please? I'm sorry, that's just for me. And it's because I see that he's saying things and he wants attention and he's like a little kid, but he doesn't share. He doesn't share the information that other people are providing. He doesn't want to put it on his page. He'll bring someone on his show like Ian, because Ian makes him look good. And I love Ian too, but he's also, he was watching my videos and he wasn't sharing them either. And I actually unfriended them because I'm like, you know what? Sharing is caring. And what do you feel you have to lose to be competitive? we're not on the same level. I'm not selling your products. I've promoted you. How difficult is it to share information that you feel threatened by others, myself or someone else? And this is really about integrity. That's what this is about. Because people will say one thing, but you got to watch their actions. And my intention for this new moon is to take my power back. Thank you, Debbie, dear. Thank you, Thea. I appreciate all of you for sharing. And, okay, Jennifer, I love you, honey, but don't be speaking for other people about his personal space. He does things that, you know, that's his personal stuff. And I know if he says he doesn't feel threatened, he's saying it. But if he weren't feeling threatened, he would actually be more involved in the community. Some of us stay up late nights. There's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes on these videos. We answer questions on text messages. We actually engage in the messages within these Facebook Lives. We're actually engaging. Yeah, he engages, but he engages with the people that he thinks are going to support and help him. So when he actually follows through and he shows you what he promises, I'll be impressed. I will be, because I think that he truly is a lot of talk. When he delivers, show me. I kind of a little bit sick of people who use another doctor and use other names to promote themselves, because it's kind of like the celebrity status symbol, like, look at me, I'm associated with all these people. That's just me. So tonight we're going to do a bubble bath meditation. Tom and I, this is about setting intentions and returning to our personal power. We should be speaking for ourselves only. Speaking for ourselves specifically, in the sense that we're not using someone else's credentials to uplift and make us look more important. What I mean by that is I'm not sitting here telling you these are all the degrees I've got and this is all the training I have. I'm giving you raw and real who I am, right? I don't sit here and say Dr. Morse does this and he says this. You know what? You got to figure out stuff for yourself. And I'm not going to tell you you should listen to what a doctor says or this one says. I'm going to tell you should really just apply it to your own life and try your own personal experiment and experience, because otherwise I may be directing you in the wrong direction. So anyway, I brought this up specifically because I want to see people truly being authentic and showing who they are and not hiding behind a guise. Because, again, I've had several people who have promised things and not delivered is really what this is coming from. And like I said, Angie, people will follow people because it reflects something within them. And you have to be really attentive. It could be a wounded aspect of yourself that you're holding on. And I'm saying this because that's what I was hitting this morning for me. That maybe I was holding Andrea and Steve and all those people up there because I could see the inner child that is struggling within them. But they're not willing to confront it nor reveal it to you as people. Because that's the bottom line. Are they truly revealing what's going on within them? Or are they just giving you what they think will bring you in to support them? Because they're still fearful of showing their true colors to you, is what I'm trying to point out. And that they fear sharing because they fear the idea that somebody will take something from them. Because that's what I sat with this morning. That my ego still has the residuals of, well, what happens if someone takes all of what I've worked really hard all these years on, all this inner work I've been doing, and is using it to uplift and do their own thing. And then I had to sit there and go, what does it matter? In the end, there's plenty to go around, but many people don't understand that. So instead of actually spreading the love, they're hoarding communities. They're holding on to people and not sharing anything with anybody else. They act like they're spreading the love, but they're not showing up with the love. Yeah. So, I mean, and in the end, you know what? The truth always comes out for us. And I've learned plenty of lessons to understand that. So, you know, it's all perfect, and everybody's going to get their blessings from their lessons, and it may require a repeat experience. I know I had to have a repeat experience of buying this particular product from Karen. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm done with this. Over a month and my hard-earned money. That's what I'm talking about here. I matter too. And I'd like to think that as a customer, I'm valued and appreciated. But lip service isn't going to do it if I feel like I've been dropped several times and literally had to ask to be reminding the individual that I'm still missing a product. It's been over a month now, and maybe I'll get it on Tuesday, I'm being told. You know, I'm still waiting. Exactly. Manipulation comes in many flavors. You have to ask yourself, am I truly listening to my inner voice, or am I holding out? Because that's what I was confronting. Am I holding out? What I dealt with Karen, for example, was I was like, you know what? When this is done, let me just get my product and I'll unfriend her. And I was sharing this with somebody. I said, you know, I'm done with this. But I almost feel like I want to stay friends until I get my product, and then I can unfriend them. But then I said, you know what? I could get this off my chest. This is BS. People who are feeling frustrated and are attacking outward are also turning around and not recognizing that the reason they're hitting brick walls is because they're not owning themselves. They're not honoring themselves. They're not putting themselves out there on the line. They're not speaking up from their truth. They're just repeating rhetoric to keep people interested. And in some cases, some people are putting their, doing certain things that are compromising their integrity. And you have to speak from your heart and soul and stay there. And if this doesn't resonate with anybody, that's okay too. I'm good with that. You don't even need to tell me, because I'm at a point where it's easier for me to move forward than to get stuck on one or two people who doesn't resonate for what I'm saying. Because it's going to serve somebody to speak up for themselves. And then if it doesn't serve the other person, well, that's okay. Everybody finds their time in perfect harmony. It's the flow, that divine dance with the cosmos. So anyway, I'm going to finish this up because I do want to. Life's too short. We're meant to have fun. Get stuff off your chest and move forward. So I feel good now. I hope you do too. Keep it real, keep it raw, and stay true to you. I love you. Mwah!
Love you. See you in the bubble bath.